Hey there, this is Jonathan. I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on using the Ken Burns effect with some freeware software, and we're also going to look at some other software that's not freeware for doing the same sort of thing. But the Ken Burns effect is a technique developed by a guy named, you guessed it, Ken Burns, in order to simulate video with using images. Now, he was working on documentaries, especially ones such as the Civil War, which these are examples from, and he didn't have anything to use for video except for images. So he would scale and zoom into the images in order to create video. Now, sometimes it would be a single image like you see here. Other times he may have one image that he uses multiple ways, such as in the next example, where he moves from one section to another section of the image in order to talk about particular things that are happening within the image. So it's not just a very simple zoom in or a simple zoom out. Now, one of the things that I should warn you about with this technique is you typically don't want people to know that it's just an image, meaning that you don't want to zoom out so far that you actually see the edge of the image. For example, we see that here at the beginning. If you look, the original edge is over here somewhere. We can't really tell because this doesn't have an edge to it. It's black. But we can kind of tell with this next one. See how we could see to the edge and then all of a sudden it gets to the edge and it stops? That's typically not as preferable with the Ken Burns effect. Anyway, there's lots and lots of software that enables us to do this. Some of the places you can find it, this one is Magic Slideshow Creator. Another one, which is really nice, is ProShow Gold. And my father actually uses this ProShow Producer all the time and loves how flexible it is. And so, from my experience is that this is really one of the better pieces of software for doing this technique. One of the nice things that they have right now, actually, is an online tool that allows you to create these online, which is kind of cool. Now, another place you can create them online is SlideRoll. If you want to take a look at maybe what one looks like, it's not on my gallery. Let's go to everybody's slideshows, and I can go to one of these and just randomly play it. And you'll see that we kind of have the Ken Burns effect where we're zooming in and out of images. We're panning across them to be able to show certain details. Now, what's kind of nice is that they actually have some software on here where you can try it for free. Let's see, there's somewhere in here, join for free. Let's go back to the home. Slideshow Creator Demo. So you can actually just see a demo of how it works here. I'll hit OK. I'll load a saved slideshow and just click on that one, say OK, and you'll see that I can go into all the images here. And they've got little transitions between them, which is kind of nice. And let's see what it looks like. If I were to go to the in of this and the out, you'll see it's zooming up a little bit, and I can even zoom in a little bit more with it. And here I can see, here's the in, so my in is going to be zoomed out a little bit. Let me go back to it. The out is there. I guess it might be possible. Pan, there we go. I can move it up or down. Maybe I'll zoom a little bit. So there we go. So there's the in. There's the out. So you're seeing what it would look like from one section to the other. And now if I want to play that, I can actually just click on it somewhere in here and hit play. Typically I can. Usually I think there's, there it is. My first slideshow. Now, it doesn't look great in the preview here, but I'm pretty sure that once you've gone through all the slides, added your music, gone through the settings, saved it out, and published it, which you cannot do right now in the demo version of the online demo, you'll actually get very, very good results, as you could see from the demos that they had there. Now, there are other ones. Slideshow for YouTube allows you to do it. PhotoStage2 by Microsoft allows you to do it. And Microsoft actually has a new software called Windows Live Movie Maker, which can do the same sort of effect. I happen to like a couple freeware items. There's Memories on the web, and then my favorite, which is called PhotoStage. Now, the reason that I like PhotoStage is because it gives me the ability to edit the timing of my slideshow a little bit better than some of the other ones that I've used in the past. ProShow Gold and ProShow, if I go back, Producer, there it is, they also give me very detailed control over when my timing of my audio and my video kind of work together. And so I think that PhotoStage simulates that pretty well with being a very inexpensive piece of software to demo. I think the demo is free, and then if you wanted to purchase it, it takes, like $30 or so. But it's really not bad software. Now, one of the things that I like about this is that it's very easy to set a start point and an end point, and then to have some other controls such as adding gamma, brightness, contrast, other things like that to your images. So it's really quite nice. Now, I should point out, though, that when you install NCH software, it does try and have you install a whole bunch of other software. Their audio, their video converters, their audio editors, and things like that. So you have to kind of be aware that if you're afraid of viruses and things like that, this can almost simulate it, but it isn't a virus. But I just wanted that as a disclaimer. Anyway, I've downloaded the software. And I'm going to go ahead and install it. Now, I believe I've already installed this software along with some other ones. And there is the software. And let's see, here's the slideshow for YouTube one, the Aquasoft. I installed that just to see what it looks like. And I can choose my different settings, and I've got images that I can import. But then I'd have to, let's see, go and find an image. And then I can zoom up and scale it and do a whole bunch of stuff with it. I just don't really know how to use this software yet, so I'm not going to go through it too much. Then there's PhotoStage, which is the one that I think is really quite nice. You begin by adding your media files. So I'm going to go to my pictures, and I'm just going to add some sample images. And I'm just doing 4 images at this point. And I'm also going to add a a music file. So let me go and I'll use Sleepaway MP3. Now that's importing my MP3 file. Now I always think that it's important to begin by importing your audio files. So I'm going to drag my audio file down to the timeline first, and you can see that I can kind of move it around to find out, when I want it to start. And when I'm ready, I can go ahead and play that maybe. Let's see, there's the volume. Doesn't look like I have any images in here, so it doesn't want to play yet. So let me take my first image and take it in there. So you can see that it kind of times out and it shows me when things happen. Now I'm going to fade in a little bit, so if I can find the old fade, a transition, here it is. I'm going to fade in from black. Apply. There we go. I know what I need. I need a black screen first. So I'm going to add a blank at the beginning of the timeline. So there's my black screen. And I'm even going to adjust that time just a little bit. Apply, close. That is going to have a fade. So I'm going to apply that. Now I should be able to see that timing better. Go back to the beginning. So you can see I can kind of time things to happen. And I'm going to make that last a little bit longer. Right now I'm going to make it go to 9 seconds. So you see the next one there. Now what isn't quite as fun is that you have to kind of adjust the seconds and then apply it to be able to see the audio adjust timing. But I'm going to add my next one, which will be my desert one. That'll go right afterwards. And I want those to just line up with each other. So I'll take that to 8 seconds. Yeah, now you can see. Oops, I put that after. There we go. And that should have a fade. Oh, crossfade might go well there. So you could see that I timed it out. It's a little kludgy to work with, but it is totally possible. Now we can change our transition times, make those longer. If I want to make this happen, over 2 seconds, you'll see that it keeps the overall length the same. But the timing, the basic timing, is still there. Now, one of the other things that I want to do is to add some pan and zoom with this. So I'm going to go to Effects. I'm going to go up to that zoom right there, and that's what I want to use. So here is the start zoom, and because this image is red to begin with, it's not really showing it great to me, but I'm going to start zoomed in like that, and my end point will be zoomed in, or zoomed out all the way. So now you'll see it turned green to indicate that it's rendered that effect. And on the next one, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So let's do a zoom. And now it's going to zoom in instead of zooming out. Now, the zooms do not need to go really wide or really close. It does matter how large the resolution of the images that you're using, and also what orientation that you are going to do. So if I want to make this a 4:3 slideshow always, then it'll be important that I always have that side, the 4:3 size. Now if I go back to that one, do the zoom, let's make sure that we have the 4:3 size on there as well. And let's see if our results are better. So you can see that I have some pretty good control. Now I can do some other things as well. I can add lots of different effects. I can add lots of different transitions. But the typical crossfades and the typical pans and zooms are really good effects to use. Now, when you are switching from one category of images to the next category of images, there's where it might be important to add like a graphic or something like that. So one of the things that you can do is you can create graphics in Photoshop or maybe even an online tool. A great online tool for doing things would be like Pixlr. And you can create graphics here. So if I create, let's say I'll bring in one of these images, and the lighthouse will be the image that I use. I can zoom out a little bit possibly here. Let's see if I can zoom out. There we go. And might add a layer. And that's going to be some sort of, let's see, maybe I'll use that blue that's up there because that's kind of nice. So I'm going to fill that layer. Let's see, how can I fill that? Well, here, I could actually do that. That might be nice. If I go with a gradient, such as that one right there. Oh, that works pretty well. Didn't even know that was there. But what's great about this is that I can do all sorts of stuff with it. I can even change the opacity and the way that it's applied. So it's almost like allowing me to maybe make some sort of title. So I'll say lighthouses in New Hampshire. That's what this video is going to be about. So there's that video, or the text. The text right now is kind of blue too, so that's probably not smart. Let's make it white so it really stands out. And I might need to change that text by selecting it. I've actually never used this software, so there it is. At least I've never used it for this, but figured I could try it out and see how it works. We can change to a different font maybe. Now for video, we do want a font which is pretty bold in general, or fairly large. So that's why I went to a larger font here. So there's kind of my title graphic that I'm doing now. Now with this, I can go ahead and save out my JPEG, maybe something like that, that I want to use. And I'm saving it into the same folder. Oh, I don't want to replace it. This will be the Lighthouse title. Now, when I go back to my software, I can import that image. So it's under Pictures right now. Let's see if we can find that image. Did I save it? Oh no. Let me make sure I saved it. Save JPEG. Lighthouse title. Oh, I just never called it a JPEG, so we didn't realize it. There it is. There's that title. Now I can open it, and what's cool about this is that I can bring it in as a graphic. So now what's cool about that is that I actually have like a graphic that I've created somewhere else, and I've brought it in here. Now I could add probably some text in here somewhere. See, there's a text overlay, so I could add text in here, but I've found it's usually not quite as nice as you having a design application to work with, because with a design application you get to make things look exactly the way you want, and in software like this you tend to get things like these heavy outlines and it not as nice restoration of the fonts. It's just not very clean. What is kind of cool though is that you can do sizes and you can do opacity and you can even scroll things from the top to the bottom, which is kind of nice, and you can fade it in and out, but once again it really doesn't look that good. Now let's say that you did want to fade something in or out. You could actually go back to your tools here and maybe save out. Whoops, I just messed up my entire picture because I never saved. That is a problem, of course, with using it. But what you could have done is remove the text, save out the image without the text, and bring it in and put the two images next to each other. Then you can do a crossfade from one graphic to the next graphic where you have the lighthouse there or not, such as, let's go with, let me import the original lighthouse. So there's the original lighthouse. Let's see if I insert that one. Whoops, let me insert that in between the two. Get rid of that. Now you'll see as I go from one to the other. Ooh, and I want to take off that text overlay. Let's take that off. Just delete that. Now if I fade from one to the other, I could crossfade and apply it over 2 seconds. Watch what happens. That looks really nice. It's a really elegant way of doing titles and including graphics in your program. So the last thing that you could do, which is kind of fun, is that you can record a narration with the software. Once again, that's typically something that you would do beforehand. You would edit your audio and bring it in before you did your program. However, being able to do a narration on a live program like this is really quite exciting, because we can say, let's try making a recording now and seeing if it works. So I'll go ahead and stop that, and you'll see it's added that to the timeline. Let's try making a recording now and seeing if it works. Now the problem with this is that you really just don't get the type of control that you'd really like. However, you can do some minor things like, you know, click on that and edit the clip volume, and you'll see the music is less loud. Let's try making a recording now and seeing if it works. But it still doesn't give you the same control that you might get with a dedicated audio program. Because that way, with a dedicated program, you could adjust the audio levels a little bit more finely, and then import it in here to actually use in your program. Now, the last thing that we would want to do with this program is, of course, something that I should have done way before, which is save this thing. Let me save my project. Save the project file, and I'm saving it in my PhotoStage projects right now, and this is a sample. So always important to save your project. Now I can go ahead and preview my project or save my slideshow. If I preview it, it'll kind of render it on the fly for me. Now it doesn't look awesome when it's rendered on the fly. Let's try making a recording now. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the sequence. I guess I can click on that maybe, or maybe I'll just close the preview. Instead, I'm going to save the slideshow. And I can see that right up here as well. Save the slideshow, and now I can choose what I want. Do I want to save it on a disk or just as a computer file, portable device? A computer file wants to do kind of like AVI files in general. You can see you can do a lot of different file formats. I like the portable devices because the MPEG-4 has become really popular, and it's actually a very good image format to use. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use the high quality file. That's 1024 by 768. So it's pretty big. That's for an iPad. Let's just see how it does. Now it may, the first time you do this, it may download some files that it needs in order to be able to accomplish this. And you may have to wait a while depending upon how long your project is. Right now it's going to render out a quite large amount because my audio is so much longer than it needs. That's once again one of those things that you would edit before bringing into your program, because that way you would only have the length of audio that you're actually going to use. So let me open up the folder that it says that I've saved this in, and there is my movie. You can see I created one earlier. Let's take a look at it. Let's try making a recording now and seeing if it works. Okay, it actually faded out the audio for me automatically. It's actually quite cool software. So the results of this software can be excellent. It can allow you to customize your slideshows with a fine amount of detail, a fine grain of detail, which I really like about this software. And so it's a great piece of software to try out for free. And really get some high quality results with it. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and let me know how you do. Thanks.